Now, 3 months have passed since Israel declared a complete siege of Gaza after the October 7th attack by Hamas. And since then, the Enclave has weathered blanket bombings and an onslaught of military operations by the Israeli Defense Forces. While Israel has said that its goal is to destroy Hamas, Gaza continues to spiral under an unprecedented crisis and what global humanitarian organizations have also called collective punishment. This is the face of Gaza's most recent tragedy. Wael Dahdouh is Al Jazeera's Gaza bureau chief, but today he embodies the grief and devastation of the war-torn enclave. Wael lost his eldest son, Hamza Dahdouh, to an Israeli airstrike in Khan Yunis on Sunday. Like his father, the 27-year-old was also a journalist and was traveling with 2 others near the Al-Mawasi when he was killed.
How can a person receive the news of the death of his son, his eldest son, and everything in his life? And after I lost before members of my family, my wife, my son Mahmoud, Sham and Adam.
In the course of these 3 months, Wael lost his wife, daughter, a second son and a grandchild. Hours after suffering a personal blow, he was back to reporting on the ground and on the reality of Gaza.
The world should see with 2 eyes, not with an Israeli eye. They should see everything happening to the Palestinian people. What did Hamza do to them? To the Israelis? What did my family do to them? What did civilians do to them? They did nothing to them, but the world closes its eyes to what's happening in the Gaza Strip.
Wael's story is merely a representation of what thousands of families in the war-torn enclave endure every day. Since October 8th, 1.9 million Palestinians in Gaza have been displaced. Hunger, lack of electricity, and a meager influx of aid remains an everyday story. While death and despair have become the new normal in Gaza, pressure mounts on Israel's government to bring the remaining hostages home. Families of hostages kidnapped on October 7th by Hamas displayed a beeline of shoes, calling on Israeli authorities to rescue the captives. Meanwhile, top Israeli officials said that they expect the war in Gaza to continue for at least a year. The statement raises concerns over rising civilian casualties in the enclave and a worsening humanitarian crisis. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Adam Day. He is the head of Geneva office of United Nations University's Center for Policy Research. Recently, the United Nations humanitarian chief said that the Gaza is now inhabitable. UN has also reiterated that famine is looming in the Gazan Strip. What can one derive of the humanitarian crisis that is unfolding in Gaza?
I think we're beyond teetering. I mean, the Secretary General has spoken about spreading famine conditions across Gaza. I don't think we need to think about it as something that's going to happen. It's already happening. And so part of the new initiative by the Secretary General to appoint a humanitarian and reconstruction coordinator is to accelerate and facilitate that humanitarian relief in. That is to meet the short-term humanitarian crisis in Gaza. It isn't going to address the longer or even medium-term question about safe return to their homes or rebuilding their homes. But I do think that tomorrow, as the first day for Sigrid Kaag as the senior humanitarian and reconstruction coordinator, is an incredibly important day. It sends a signal that we need to accelerate this relief in now, and it gives us a focal point that we haven't had in the past. And so I do think that it's an important moment as we reflect on the past 3 months to also think about tomorrow being the first day of potential potentially a new phase for the UN in being able to enable that humanitarian relief, at least to address the famine conditions now.